And the climate right now with schools and racial problems, kids being on Zoom, learning right now, and we all know that this isn't going to last. But so as this is evolving and as schools are evolving, attitudes are adjusting, what's your vision for schools? What are your vision for the kids?
I think the theme that's happening the past couple of years, especially I think the last election, it really started becoming more prominent to become accountable. And that's what I'm saying about even being on the board, is that there needs to be new expectations across the board. I think there needs to be new expectations in the world right now. And when we set these new expectations, we need to start holding people accountable. And I think that's what's happening right now is with the students, is that they're learning so much more about the world and how it works and things that are just not right. I mean, racism is still here. It's here. I just, when I grew up in Sonoma County, and when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I went to meet my biological dad. So I wrote a book in 2013 about my memoir. And my childhood, it's common knowledge, my childhood was not the greatest. One of those not great situations was that I went to go meet my biological dad at Joliet Federal Prison. My dad is a murderer, and he has killed numerous people, and he's spent most of his life in jail. I mean, he gets out, but then he goes right back in. So I had met him for the first time when I was 11, 12 years old. And Joliet Federal Prison, it's closed now, but the building is still there, and it's Southern Illinois. So Southern Illinois and portions of St. Louis, because it was right there on the border, there is racism. But it's not California racism. It is back east racism.
Yeah.
You are scared. And I remember and I had never experienced that before. I mean, snide comments, fine, in California. But going back there and thinking you might get hurt, it really disappointed me that in my lifetime I was going to experience that. Because I felt that, come on, we're better than this. This is ridiculous. We've come so far, but we haven't come so far. And so these kids now, and I graduated high school 30 years ago. So 40 years ago, let's just say, 35, 40 years ago, I had that experience. And for students now to be experiencing any of that ignorance, because that's what racism is. It's ignorance. Ignorance, lack of knowledge. When you don't know something, then you have a choice to learn it, to learn it and figure it out and adjust to it, or be ignorant. It's just, there's only two choices. You only have two choices. And I think that, one thing that needs to happen is that the accountability needs to be lifted. The bar needs to get much higher. And with that accountability, that comes with new expectations across the board. And new expectations is growth, constant growth. And that's where we get stagnant, is when we get complacent, even in our friendships, in our relationships, in our family, in our work, that's where growth stops. And that's, we need to constantly move forward. I sort of see things in a bigger picture. And there's a chapter in my book that I talk about all of us are in a fishbowl. Our house, our lives are our own fishbowl. And what happens is we're swimming around and it gets dirtier and dirtier. But we get used to the water, the quality of water. We get complacent with our lifestyle, with hoarding, with being lazy, with ignorances. We all experience ignorances. Me, you, everybody does. And that's why it's the constant learning. So we get complacent in this murky water, and then it gets so bad that we have to clean it. So when we clean out our fishbowl, it's rewriting our dialogue, it's rewriting our story, and we are starting fresh. But the whole idea is not to let it get so murky. That's the idea, is not to get so stagnant that that you can't even see through your water. You can't even see through your ignorances. And I think that's what's happening in this world right now, big time, is people aren't seeing past their nose.
I like that analogy.